Hi, my name is Angela Huey, and I'd like to give you some strategies for working with children's choirs. Working with very young children in a choral setting requires significant patience and perseverance. It also calls for some strategic planning before the rehearsal begins. We will seek to provide those preparing to work with young children's choirs some broad advice in the form of an easily remembered acronym. WRAP. W is warm up, R is repeat, A is acclimate, and P is present. This methodology for planning rehearsal works well for all levels of choirs, but it is particularly useful for young choirs, where structure and planning are absolutely key to maintaining group focus and discipline. So the W is warm up. There are quite a few options for warming up your children depending on the focus of the day and the ages you are working with. Starting with a game or other physical activity is helpful to release some of the energy that kids have, which will make teaching easier later on. Avoid jumping right into any new concepts. If you are short on time, you can review first. Here are a few suggested activities suitable for ages 4 and up. Most activities can be made easier for slightly younger children as well. As a choral warm-up, have the children reach their arms up in the sky and sigh from a very high note to a very low note. Their arms should slowly fall as they sigh. Alternately, have them start with their arms low, sing the word whoop as they go quickly up the scale. Arms should glide upward as the voices ascend. In order to encourage singing on pitch, have every child sing their name on the following notes: E, D, D, E, C, in the rhythm quarter, eighth, eighth, quarter, quarter. The rhythm can be revised as necessary depending on the number of syllables in the child's name. It is a good idea to start in the middle of the keyboard because you will find that some children don't know how to find high notes yet. They have to slowly be guided up the scale over time. Some children have a natural understanding of how to move the voice high and low. Your goal during this stage is to make sure that everyone feels confident singing alone. Finally, a fun exercise for getting the lips moving is Mommy Made Me Munch My M&Ms, using a pentatonic scale stepping up. Start slow and encourage the kids to go faster and faster, usually resulting in a lot of giggles. Now we'll move on to a theater warm-up. Are the kids learning short lines as part of your presentation? A fun way to reinforce their memory is to play red light, green light. Stand at one end of the room and read a line from your play. If the child with the next line says it correctly, they get to take a turn. Yell green light as they run or walk towards you, and say red light when you want them to stop. The first child to tag you is the winner. Slightly older kids will enjoy emotion party. Explain to the group what an emotion is, and act out a few examples, such as sad or excited. Choose one child to be the host of a party. Another child knocks on an imaginary door and enters the party while acting out their emotion. They can choose the emotion, or you can assign them one. It is the job of the host to copy whatever the emotion is. A new guest knocks on the door with a new emotion. Everyone at the party must take on this new emotion. This goes on until all of the guests have arrived at the party. Inevitably, some very powerful emotions will be chosen and things will get crazy and chaotic very fast. Finally, a great way to get kids to slow down their speaking as they act out their lines is to play water, mud, or cement. Talk about the consistency of each material. Water is easy to move through, mud a little harder, and cement very thick. Have the kids say their lines as if they are walking through water, speaking in a normal voice, mud, which would be a slower voice, or cement, which would be extremely slow. This game will undoubtedly produce giggles as the kids beg to speak like cement and say their lines extremely slow. Later on, you can remind them to speak like mud, and they will say the lines slower and with much more clarity. There are several games and warm-up books out there with tons of ideas. With a little imagination, it's easy to come up with your own. During the warm-up, allow for some chaos. Keep the group moving in the right direction, but welcome their creativity and energy. A little chaos now will give you the power to ask for control later on. The kids will come to understand when they can cut loose and when they're expected to focus.